Goeiedag, good day, fellow South Africans and citizens of the world. And I got a lengthy email from our resident author, Fiona Timms, the White Zulu. And it's called Stop Driving on Our Beaches. And she starts off by saying, I need to have a rant. I've had a few on here, believe me, but she needs to have a rant. Can we possibly open up a new section called I Need to Have a Rant? Well, that's a pretty good idea. I think we might put that into the categories, Rudy, on lovinglifetv.com. But let me tell you what she says and why she has a rant, and you can understand completely why she does. She says, there is a TV program called Three Great Turds, or something like that. I'd really like to call them something far worse, but you are a true gentleman and I wouldn't put you through that. There are three annoying cretins who feel quite entitled to come and rip up our beaches and game reserves, using them as your own personal playgrounds. One is walking pot-bellied, heart attack, with snaggled yellow teeth that would frighten an elderly mule. Another is a scarecrow, and there's a midget Ewok. No, sorry, I take that back, as it's an insult to Ewoks. I apologize to them. You're forgiven, Fee. These three oafs behave exactly like Trump and Biden did in the first USA election debate, embarrassing their own supporters, causing them to cringe, while three old white men quarreled and squabbled incoherently for an hour, like toddlers over a toy in the sandbox, or the EFF do on a daily basis. They do it just because they are rich enough to pay our corrupt, crooked so-called Minister of Environment. I won't pronounce that how you have, Fee. He pockets the money so that they can come and do as they please. They rip up our game reserves, beautiful beaches and sand dunes, destroying a frighteningly fragile ecosystem down to the last little ants, which are so important to the whole environment. These annoying geriatric idiots that amuse themselves squabbling and shouting, paying desperately poor local people to work for them on what I can only imagine would be a small cash-in-hand fee, they mock the African, take away all their dignity, then leave our beloved country in tatters. I was bored to the dry heavens yesterday, sick of being locked up and muzzled as if I was a rabid dog, and was flipping idly through the channels to try and find something that wasn't so puerile that I would actually throw up. I accidentally hit one of these outrageous programs. First, I cried, and then I became very, very angry, furious. After leaving the Botswana bush camps in 1997, I lived in Plettenberg Bay for several years, house sitting for various clients, freeing them up to go to the Mediterranean for a month and not to have to worry about their pets, their houses, security and staff. I was homeless by then and had a 1951 Series 1 Land Rover, which was 1 year younger than myself. Well, Fee, you're officially the old fart in the room, because I'm not quite that age, okay? But this is a rant, so I've got to get serious. It was a perfect symbiotic system and suited us all. I had a lovely home and pets to look after, and they had a completely carefree holiday. One of my greatest pleasures was taking dogs down to Long Beach and many other of our beautiful pristine beaches, and walk across to Roberg at low tide while the dogs joyfully ran ahead. I know that our Loving Life family would be aware of these darling little plovers and sandpipers who feed at low tide on the crustaceans in the wet sand. I'm also aware that all our Loving Life members would know that these little birds nest just behind the high tide line. Their nests are just a little scrape in the sand, and their eggs are fawn with little black speckles. Nature is so clever at making them look like seashells. I always made sure that the dogs never went near those areas and kept them in the shallow surf because they could step on or crush the fragile eggs and chicks. But nature hadn't made arrangements for these great oafs in their expensive beach buggies, tearing up the dunes and ripping away everything in their paths. Having successfully trashed these vehicles and our dunes and beaches, they go home to England and have a jolly good time. Then they find another crooked politician in Madagascar to do it all over again next week. After that, Namibia. But I was amazed to hear that the Namibian government wouldn't allow them to rip up the salt pans as well. He appears to be a little more enlightened and educated about ecosystems. In South Africa, it's a free-for-all. EFF equals everything for free. Every year, Sodwana Bay plays host to the nesting season of the huge leatherback and their cousins, the loggerhead turtles. Above St. Lucia, all along the Zululand coast, right up into Mozambique and further, all around Madagascar is where these rare, exquisite, and now highly endangered turtles come to go through the laborious process of laying their eggs and struggling back into the sea to leave their young to fend for themselves. At springtide, these babies, some the size of a penny, scramble out of their nest and run for their lives down the beach and into the sea before the gulls, yellow-billed kites, crows, ravens, and any other predators snatch them all up and eat them. Less than 10% of these hatchlings survive into adulthood. The mother sea turtles have been decimated over the years by shark and fishing nets put in the sea indiscriminately. Now the Chinese come right to our shores and buy sea turtles and any other form of sea life from the local African residents who are happy to sell them for a few coins. These people know where every single nest is, and as the mother lays her last egg, they snatch her, dig up every single egg, and rush them all to the waiting Chinese, who then put down drag nets, miles and miles of them, strung between two huge Chinese fishing ships, and tear up and take away all our coral reefs and all their occupants. Sharks of so many species have all become highly endangered, and some of the red data list, meaning about to become extinct, by being fished out in this drag net fashion. The Chinese have such an appetite for shark fins, now anything that swims in the sea, and are busily stripping our South African shores, aided and abetted by corrupt ANC politicians who welcome them back with open arms, saying, "Come back and get more, we have plenty." And the Chinese do, as well as all the many other Far Eastern countries who like seafood. It's like putting a giant vacuum cleaner into our two oceans and sucking up every living creature till there is not a single one left, and our seas have been left deserted. The same thing is happening to all our wildlife. It's not just the sea, it's everything. "Hooray! Everybody come back soon, we have plenty more," laughed the ANC and the EFF politicians, dancing around their piles of new money. These Chinese people will eat anything and everything, so we must let them. I'm going to buy a new 4x4, maybe 2 or 3 for my wives and children, and a Rolls Royce for my senior wife. She will be very happy. Sorry, Scott, but I did say this is a rant, so I must rant. The Loving Life community are all grown-ups, a lot of whom took their matrics and passed and went to universities. They achieved good degrees on environmental issues and the ecology. They knew that we do not have plenty more of everything, and soon it will be nothing. And they warned the politicians, telling them that South Africa will not have a single living indigenous creature left. But this carries on. Then these big, rich English thugs come along, bringing their shiny new vehicles to test them and trash them on our beaches, right up to and beyond Namibia and Mozambique. They leave behind a carnage of crushed nests and eggs, dead chicks, little mongooses, even meerkats. Those iconic little creatures get carved up as these cretins roar with laughter at their own antics and high-five each other to congratulate him that he has wrecked 5 kilometers of beach, game reserves and sand dunes. And now I'm going to do it too, they shout, their bellies wobbling, and they do it over and over again. I'm a conservationist, and always have been all my life. In fact, I was seconded to the Natal Parks Board as an honorary member because I was raising a baby white rhino for them for 18 months. I'm still a staff member of the Natal Parks Board and have my uniform and badge, but I don't know where they have gone. Actually, I do know where they have gone. They have become professional government poachers and are busy throwing all our game at anybody who gives them some money. As we say, the fox is now in the henhouse. Almost all the professors of ecology have given up telling the ANC and the EFF that we will have no game at all if they carry on doing this. But the politicians just laugh at them and say, "Go away, stupid white man. You don't know what you're talking about. Footsack." And the professors and the doctors of environmental science do just that. They offer all their skills to other countries who do listen to them in exchange for a new place to live and work and raise their families in peace and safety. That leaves room for these old English yobs to come in and rip up and tear away and cause soil erosion and leave trash in the way of wrecked cars behind. They go back to England congratulating themselves on the success of a new program for the week. Now we'll go to Madagascar and race along their beaches, killing everything in their wake. We will go into what's left of their baobab forests, most of which are being cut down for firewood. Only a few small skinny young ones are left, and they will be cut down too. That precious jewel of an island which has the most prolific and diverse wildlife, and they have all the lemurs on our planet and almost all the world's chameleons. These extraordinary animals should be living in the baobabs, but they are now scratching around in the sand desert, searching for morsels or anything to eat before they are eaten. And I say to these English dinosaurs, stay at home and trash your own country, carve up your own beaches, and rip up your own sand dunes and forests. Leave us alone. So to my Loving Life family, I say, boycott this stupid program and these big fat hooligans who are so pleased with themselves and also rich. Oh my goodness, they are rich. They have country homes like palaces and thousands of acres of English countryside, but they will not allow one person to put a foot onto their property, let alone bring in a 4x4 to carve it up. Let's look at this 3 big turds, or whatever it's called, and I'm not going to tell you where to find it either. You can find it for yourself. You are grown-ups. We are all Loving Life grown-ups, and look at their idiocy from the point of view that would you get them to do that to your own gardens? I don't think so. So why are we letting them do it to our country? And then we sit back and laugh at them, thinking they are really so funny, until there is a knock at your own door and there are the 3 huge shiny 4x4s with 3 fat old men demanding to come up and rip your property to pieces. They are not funny. They are just stupid, ignorant English idiots who are so pleased with themselves and the millions of English pounds that they make every week and how they do it. Scott, you are our spokesman. I am begging you to encourage your own viewers, my family and your family, to boycott, or better still, lobby the ANC to protect us from this ridiculous waste of time and our precious and now scarce resources. Rather watch Sir David Attenborough's scientifically accurate and astonishingly beautiful documentaries about our rich diversities of South African ecology, both on the land and in our Indian Ocean. There are plenty of them on Netflix and everywhere else. Look west to Namibia and the vast Atlantic beaches. Think about our lovely coral reefs up in Sodwana. Take a holiday and drive up and enjoy them ourselves, quickly, while we still have them. Please, buddies, boycott Qantas for Oz and these turds for all of us. And if you're thinking of buying a beach buggy or these ridiculous shiny 4x4s, rather buy an old Land Rover and visit all our own lovely game parks. I'll personally summon up the Tokolosh to come and haunt you forever. I mean it. Now I'll stop crying and we'll have a laugh at James Henry's Wood Sanpio bob-off. I urge you to look at this extremely talented game guide musician clown. I'm addicted to his clips and cry with laughter as I watch him make a fool of himself at any opportunity. Also listen to his beautiful songs. Lobby him to stop these turds wrecking our beloved country. He's a dedicated conservationist. I'd go so far as to call him a genius, and has a cogence to actually do it. Now I'll put a link to James Henry's YouTube clip down below this video in the description. But there you have it. Our resident author, Fiona Timms, having a rant, and for very good reason. Please remember to subscribe to be kept informed. Ring the bell for the updates. Please like this video. Please share this video. And above all, please stay safe. Bye for now.